Good morning, everybody. This is Jack Gleason. Oops, I got two mics on. Good morning, everybody. This is Jack Gleason with MajorLeagueTrading.com. It is January 3rd, 2019 here, guys. Second trading day of the year, and this is a reminder to follow your rules and trade your plan. We will begin by going over the economic reports before the bell, guys. 7 a.m. NBA mortgage application. 7:30 we got challenger job cuts. 8:15 ADP non-farm employment change, and 8:30 initial jobless claims. After the bell at 9:45 a.m. we're going to have the ISM business conditions index at 10 a.m. ISM prices paid and ISM manufacturing, as well as PMI and construction spending. So that's going to be potentially a large market mover. Half an hour after the bell and the market open. 11:30 the 4-week bill auction, and then at 4:30 p.m. we're gonna have the crude oil weekly stock coming out. For our trend biases, the prior day in the S&P was neutral. The Nasdaq, Dow also neutral. And then the Russell on the prior day actually had a bullish bias, so it's something to keep in mind going into today here. Overnight session, neutral in all four indexes, but on the shorter term time frame, same thing, neutral. Midterm and longer time frame are bearish in all four of the indexes. ES, Nasdaq, Dow, Russell, all bearish. Earnings reports are going to start up in a couple weeks. That should fire things off. The news last night, for anyone who didn't watch my video, Apple has, for the second time in 2 decades, lowered their guidance before the earnings report. So it was a really bad sign for the markets, and that's what actually created the selling pressure we saw in the overnight session. Move on to our previous day's summary in the S&P 500 here. Talk about the value areas, pivot points, etc. The bell-to-bell high of the prior day in the S&P 500 was 25.20, with the bell-to-bell low at 24.67 on the bell-to-bell low. Settlement was 25.11. The value area high was right up there at 25.11 quarter. Value area low 24.84, and the point of control up at that settlement was 25.1075. European closed 25.03, and the volume in this session was 1,913,000 contracts. Overnight high, just put a new one in, 24.9075 is that overnight high. The overnight low down here at 24.6275. And for our pivot points, R4A 26.18, R3 25.85 half, R2 25.53, R1 25.32. The pivot point for the day is 24.99, S1 24.78 half, S2 is down at 24.46, S3 would be a move down to 24.25, and S4A comes in at 24.04. For our 10-day range analysis, we have the bell-to-bell trading session was 53 points. Our median 66. The entire session was 69 versus an 85-point median. Overnight 69. First hour 27.75. So actually a little bit of a range contraction there in the bell-to-bell trading session. The overnight had a really big range, 70 points almost. I mean, and that's just crazy. Index strength, percentage change from settlements for the trading days only. Strongest market was the Nasdaq, followed by the Russell. And over the last 5 days, guys, look at these returns. If you bought that market low, 8% move in the Nasdaq over the last 5 days. The S&P is up 7.2%. The Dow up 7.4%, and the Russell 7.2%. Over a 10-day period, though, believe it or not, we are still down. Still down over the last 10 days, even though we've rallied 7% or more off of the bottom. But the good news is, officially, we have a positive return for 2019 so far. So plenty of more to come. Let's take a look here, guys, at the technical levels we have moving into the day. I'm going to go ahead and just start with oil because we've had a pretty significant move here in the overnight session, and as well as yesterday. The volatility in oil has been just, really picking up here to the upside, at least. It's been volatile for a while. There was a huge move down, but it does look like with the indexes when they bottomed last Monday that oil is bottoming too in a sense. So the low from the 24th, right, Christmas Eve, we had that massive swing low. We followed that up with a huge rally there on the 26th, and our 50% retracement pullback since then held Thursday of last week, it held Friday, Monday was a front run, Tuesday or Wednesday retested. We barely took out the low and then just ripped. It was just like yesterday morning, oil opened, we took out the prior lows just enough to take some stops out, instantly began moving back above the support zone, and then went straight up. That target right now is still intact. It's 48.06, and I have no resistance to 48.46, which is the 50% retracement from the December high. Right now, going into the day, one of the levels I'm looking at, and I should go to a 5-minute chart, is just this, the first extension anchor. I'm going to move this up here. I'm looking for a pullback between 46.88 to 46.70 right now going into the open, and that is from the anchor of 48.90 two highs. Actually, let me adjust this to the exact high here. So 46.88 to 46.70 is the level that I want to pay attention to here, and if we can stay above these levels and hold them, I would expect us to breach the prior day's high and then continue up into the 48.06 profit targets. So that's what I'll be looking for in oil here today. So let's move on to the indexes. This is going to be one of those mornings where I'm probably not going to do much of the index. You had a very aggressive move to the downside on some economic news coming out of Apple, and now we're looking. So we've tested the 50% retracement here from the halfway back on Thursday once in the overnight session, and then it was just this really small front run during the regular trading hour session. Unless we get back to those levels, I kind of want to just see what this market has to do. So I'm only interested at this point in time in a support zone trade near the 1324 area. So I will set an alert there. Otherwise, I just want to see how the tape develops here, because we have basically a top of the range at 1356 that we've been unable to breach Friday, unable to breach Monday, unable to breach yesterday, and you did break down right off the open here. So we're right at a 50% retracement short. The 50% retracement long traded yesterday and broke, so that's a little sloppy. So I'm going to let the market open and just trade back and forth and really just be interested in the higher time frame levels, which are 1324 and 1356. For the S&P 500, a similar opinion, different levels. Full 50% retracement from the low of Thursday to high. Traded at 2460 once, okay? And then off the open, nice clean rally, back up into that 2520. This is, if I don't know, maybe we get it today, but guys, above 2520, we were rejected first, right around that area overnight session Friday. 2520 touched at the end of the day during the regular trading hour session on Friday. Then it was a huge rejection. Once again, we traded it Tuesday as the markets reopened from the Monday session. Rejection of right there, we rejected 60 points, and then once again we have rejected 50 points from that. So if we can get above 2520 here in the S&P 500 at this point in time, I would expect at least to move to 2543 fairly quickly, and then possibly all the way up to 2560 depending on what time of the day we're breaking out through that 2520. But just be aware of that 2520 moving forward. We have been unable to breach it 4 touches in a row, and on the support side it's 2460. So I'm going to continue to just look at those major levels. 2460, if we break through 2460, I have no support that I want to pay attention to all the way down until 2418. Okay, so I don't know if we'll get down there, but if we do, I want to be looking to potentially act on it. So right now, I'm going to let the market open, and those are just my bigger levels that I'm putting into play. Now, for gold, I drew up this level last night in gold. It was a high-to-high extension just because I was interested to see if we could stay above the 61.8 in the overnight session. We have done that so far. We traded the 50% retracement, made a new high, came back and retested here, and we continue to hold that level. If that level at any point in time does break, the support level I'd like to see trade below is down at 1280.8. So I'm going to set an alert just above that near 1281.2. But right now, going into this morning, if we continue to hold and have buyers in this 1288 to 1287.4 zone, then I would look for a continuation up through the current high. So that is roughly about like a 6-point move in gold. In gold's, the ranges are a lot smaller. You know, you can use tighter stops than you'd have to use in the S&P 500. There's not as much volatility, and it has been a really technical trend to the upside. So that's the zone I'll be watching here in GC. Moving on to the Dow, full 50% retracement, guys. That level is 22,822, and the top side resistance is 23,375. Make sure you have alerts at both of those levels. If we break down below here of the current low of the week in the Dow, I have no support to the full 50% retracement, which is 22,443. 22,443. So I'm just going to put a little line there for now and throw an alert. But the full 50% retracement from the low of last Thursday here, guys, at 22,822 level is what I'm watching and what I want to wait for on the lower end of side of things, or we need to break out of highs here. So same setup in the different index. Nasdaq's the only one that's different because it's the only market that didn't complete. It's halfway back long from the low on Thursday, and of course Apple's a huge weight in tech. So in last night's video, what I talked about was interesting. Even though we didn't complete there, if you just drew the regular trading hours, so turn the extended session off, we have held and defended and stayed above 61.86. So I'm gonna leave the extended session off here in Nasdaq. Apple, Nasdaq, what's the difference, right? And then really just what I want to pay attention to is, can we hold above this 50% retracement here today? And if we can, where shall we continue? Yesterday in the overnight session, there was a bid at that 62.27. We're trading up north 63s here, so we're 30 points off of that level and more. So that's what I'm interested in, seeing if we retest level, if we hold above. But really, the low that we took out, the Nasdaq's going to be the one, the index I'll watch closely here, but the low that we took out before Apple down guided is going to be 63.34. So that'll be something that's difficult for the Nasdaq to recapture. And if the Nasdaq can recapture 63.40, then I would be confident in a higher time frame pullback. Otherwise, I think it's just going to be a little bit of a range here. But that's all I have for this morning's trade plan. Remember, the Russell has the bullish bias compared to the rest of the indexes here, guys. That's what I'll be paying attention to, waiting for these setups. Everybody trade safe here today, and thank you for watching the Major League Trading Morning Trade Plan. If you enjoyed this content, please give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed to the Major League Trading YouTube channel, and if you're serious about learning how to trade, you should check out our MLT Pro Trader program. Anyways, thank you for watching here today, guys. Everybody take care, and I'll see the Major League Trading members inside the MLT Power Hour. Take care.